So you manifested the exact thing you didn't want, or the exact opposite of what you wanted. Things are going in the wrong direction. You don't seem to catch a break. Or you've been there and you don't know why. Or you want to make sure you know how that happens so that you don't end up in that situation. We're going to break it down. So, the exact reason why this happens, even though you've been doing all the right things, you've been maybe working so hard at it, or affirming or visualizing or all the things, yet things don't seem to go your way. The reason for that is that you care too much. You care too much to a degree that it gives you anxiety. The thought of it not manifesting gives you panic or anxiety, or you just cannot stand the thought of it too much. Okay? So when you think it is that important, you're basically creating an energetic distortion, right? Where you're creating a completely distorted narrative. Kind of like, if this client doesn't pan out, then my business is over. Or if this relationship doesn't work out, then I'm nothing without it, or like I must be totally undesirable, right? Or kind of like, if this doesn't work out, then I'm not going to be a role model. So I've been there, and I 100% hear you. Let me give you a little story of how this happened to me. It's happened to me in many different occasions, as I've been the queen of obsession in the past. So back, like 6 years ago, when I was, starting my entrepreneurship journey, and I was quitting my corporate job, I was absolutely obsessed with the business that I was launching. Okay. I was launching an Amazon FBA business, and literally, it's like my life depended on it. Not in a great way, like in a bad way. Like, I really thought, okay, like I was not going to be okay if that business didn't work. And I had studied, so much. I took courses that were very expensive, and I was like hustling at it, right? And because I knew like every step of the way, like so well, like things were going really well. And even when I launched, things were going well. I started to get all kinds of obstacles, all kinds. And my internal state, it's one of the worst internal states I've ever had. Even though I had zero need for the business to work, for anything like that, it was just pressure that I was putting on myself. Because if you can relate, I've been a queen of obsession, I've been an infatuation junkie, I've been all the things related to obsession and just wanting things too much. Okay? And so, what the quantum field, the universe does with this distortion of the reality that you will not be okay if things don't go the way you want, that energetic distortion is like a spike, like a wave. So, life or the quantum field comes to stop those forces. It comes to balance it out, right? So I got obstacle after obstacle, and I was literally desperate, right? For no reason, but I was. And what happened next? And my internal state just continued to deteriorate, right? As things were just not working. And Amazon ended up shutting down my store, and I can't even explain to you how devastated I was. So, in the end, I really had to sit down and understand that things would be okay in the end. Like, it just had to come to me, right? Naturally. And at the time, I didn't understand what obsession can give, right? It can, like, wanting things too much, it literally imbalances um all the energy around you, right? So let's keep it practical and give you the antidotes for excess potential, which is what giving it undue importance is the alternate name, right? So number one, when things start to go the opposite of what you want, when you're manifesting the opposite, the key is to neutralize that negative emotion. Okay, instead of dwelling on it. So for example, when I was getting all those obstacles, I was literally like, oh my god, like, this is the end, I can't let this happen, right? I was devastated. I was like super anxious and super attached, right? So again, what we're talking about in this video is really how to detach, right? And then what happens next? No energy given to that negative feeling. You want to think of it as, okay, it's just a little rock on the road, like, we are going, right? So you want to minimize whatever crazy obstacle or whatever thing going the opposite. You don't want to pay too much attention. You don't want to feed that energy. Okay? So, whatever you can say to yourself, such as, it's just. So, again, minimizing the problem that is occurring and giving it perspective. Okay? Giving it the right perspective. For example, say, you know what, we're just going to find out what the remedy for that is, right? Like understanding that it's not the end of the world, right? You know that phrase, it's not the end of the world, it really, really kind of exists for a reason, because when you're there and you make that obstacle like the end of the world, it really becomes the end of the world. And it did for me. Or not the end of the world, but it was the end of my business, which is what I thought was the end of the world. And it wasn't. I was okay in the end, right? And I knew that I had to, like, have a different perspective to the whole thing. I knew that was my problem. So until I did some introspection, and here comes the second hack. The second hack is to face the worst case scenario. In Spanish, we have a saying that's translated means you're not going further than the ground. Kind of like if you fall off, you won't go further than the ground, right? Kind of like it's not like you're gonna fall to the center of the earth and melt with the lava, right? So you're gonna face the worst case scenario. In my case, it was okay. So I have to open up a new store or a new product in Amazon, and I did. I actually did, right? And I decided to not pursue it in the end for the main reason that it was really not the path of least resistance for me. I found it too stressful, and just beyond the excess importance. I found it too. I was not enjoying it, right, because of uh, all the uncontrollable variables that there are in that type of business that are just too much. There's too much money at stake that I didn't want to deal with. So I faced the worst case scenario, and it was so understanding that even in the worst case scenario, you will be okay. There will be a solution. There will be an alternate option. There will be something that is even better for you. Okay? So that's it. Step number 2. So step number 3 is the famous normalize it. Demote the goal to an errand. Okay? So we view our manifestations as us picking up our package, picking up what's ours. You're picking up what's yours. See, there's the key. It's already yours. You're just picking up the package. So when you're treating it, that huge goal, like this incredible thing that you're trying to grasp that is not yours, you're trying to grasp it, it's when there is excess importance, right? So what you want to do is treat it like an errand. I'm just going to pick up my order, right? So I'm just following the steps to go pick up my package, an errand. So that energetic emotion, that is the famous normalizing it. Okay? So there you have an absolute super effective method to reduce the excess importance. So let me know in the comments if you've been in this situation. Let me know if you've been able to apply any of these hacks or method to reducing excess potential, and I'll see you on the next. Bye.